So today we are going to talk about validation rule. What is a validation rule? So guys, every time we fill our form to submit any record data or anything, uh, the form should validate our data, right? Let's say if we are mentioning a phone number or email ID or anything, the data should be validated by the form itself, and we use validation rule for the same thing, right? So now we'll discuss about what is a validation rule and how we can create a validation rule to just validate our Salesforce form. Any form you can validate, either it is a standard form or a custom form. Validation rule will basically you need to put on table itself, and that generally work on table directly, right? So let me show you how you can do that. I think let me just choose our, yeah. So let's say I have this form student, and if I will click on new, you will see the set of fields, right? So if I want to put any validation on this, let's say you cannot set India as country or Pakistan as a country, something like that, right? So you can put any validation like phone number or anything. So what you can do is you can simply go to object, or you can directly open from here, view validation rule, and this will open the validation rule related list from the object. You can see here it is opening the object, student object, and here you will see a related list called validation rule, and you can simply click on new to create a new validation rule just to validate your data, what your users are going to put on this one. Okay, so let me just give it a name. So you can simply pass a name, any name for your choice, right? And here, this is a formula window, right? So here you can create your equation for validation. So let's say whatever you want to put, and here you just need to put your error message. So if users are inputting your wrong information, filling a wrong information in that particular field, then what will be your error for users, right? And this is for error location. So you can put your error in two different locations, either directly on that field. So it will show on just below from that field, right? And this one is for top of the page. So every error you will see if you will select this one on top of the page only. So here, this is the main thing that you need to understand. And it is for validation rule and formula field. For both, it is same, right? We'll discuss formula field in the upcoming lecture, but here, this particular section is same for both. So by this button, what you can do is you can simply insert a field. So it is just to put a mathematical condition. If that condition will be true, then your validation will fire, right? If your condition will be false, then system will bypass your validation rule. So by this, you can input all of the fields, or you can select parent object fields as well. So we have account as a parent of a student. So you can see, you can also select account. And even if account has any parent, then you can also select that thing. So let's say account owner is the user, right? So you can also see user and then contact, all these. So you can go some labels directly here, right? So you can select fields. So for student field, you can simply see here. And here you can insert operator, add, subtract, multiply, divide, exponential, right? So all these operators you can use. Double ampersand is for and or, right? Greater than, less than, all these operators you can use to just make your calculation, right? And then this is the most important part. So here you will see a lot of inbuilt functions, those you can use to build your equation. So here you can see ABS, and after selecting this, you will see the use case of that function. So here ABS and the name of the function, and it is taking one number parameter, right? And here you will see return the absolute value of a number without its sign, right? Similarly, add month. So if you want to add a month in a particular date, then you can simply use this add month and it will return the new date by adding just a number of months that you want, right? So add month is a function. It will take two parameters, date and number, add the months to the date using the last date of the month if date is the last day of the month, or adding number month as a fewer days, right? So you can use this function. Then and is for logical and check whether all arguments are true and return true if all arguments are true. And is simply you can use, right? So and then begins. So we have so many functions. Begins is just to check if text begin with a specified character, and return true if it does, otherwise return false, right? So it will ask you two parameter, text and the compare text. So, and then blank value. So you can simply select the functions and use them as and when required. I will tell you some of the useful functions that you will use a lot in validation rule and formula field. The one is and. You will use and a lot in almost 70 to 80% of your validation. You will use and then case function is also, but sometimes you can use if condition as well. So case and if both are almost with the same use case, but if you can also use case, it is like a switch case. And date function, you can also use date, but it is not very common. Then if condition, so if you will use if condition a lot. And what else is pick val. So this is for pick list value, right? As it is mentioned here, check whether the value of a pick list field is equal to a string literal. So if you want to compare a pick list value, then you can simply use is pick val, and it will take two parameter, pick list field, I mean the value, and text literal by which you want to compare, right? So, and then left, len, these are not very common functions, but you can use them in mouth, month, now, or is most widely used. And that's it. So you can check like these are the functions that you can use in your daily work, right? In validation rule. So we can put any validation rule. Let's just discuss one scenario of validation. What we can check is if student name equals to, let's say, Pratik, and country equals to India, then we should show an error on the top of the page that you cannot select Pratik as an along with country as India, right? So just taking it without any significance, just taking it just to show one or two functions here. Okay, so what you will do, you just need to check both the conditions should be true, right? Then only this validation will be true. So any guesses, guys, what we should use here? Chetan, what do you think?
Sorry, what's the question again?
Yeah. What do you think? What we should use to just validate if the student name is equal to Pratik and country is equal to India, then we should show an error that you cannot pick both at the same time for one record. So do you have any guess which function we should use to and yeah, we can use and as well. Is there any other function that you can think of along with and? Blank value, yeah, pick val, right? Because we are just comparing pick list value, right? So let's just use and first, and in logical one, what we need to check is if name is equals to Pratik, right? So what you need to do is just insert a field here. What will be the field name? It will be a student name. And like this, you can insert a field here and you can simply compare it with equal sign and quotes. Let me just pass it like this. Then we should have another logical condition. And here we cannot directly check a pick list value. Then what we need to do? We need to use another function in AND, right? That is pickval. Let's find that function for you. You can use this function pickval as a second logical condition. So now what pickval is asking? The pick list field value that you want to compare and the exact literal. So what will be the exact literal for this? India, right? And
Yeah.
Field, pick list field here. You can simply select, what's the name of the pick list field? Country, right?
Country.
Okay, let me just pick that. So country is the field name, and here you need to pass the value of that pick list field. So as we have discussed earlier, we generally have two values here. One is value and one is label, right? So luckily we have passed both as same. So if you will go to view field and you will check the country, then you will have two values. Let me just show you how you can check that. So here just click on country as a field. And here, see, one is value and one is API name, right? So we always need to pick the API name, right? But most of the cases we generally put same so that we can avoid errors. So here you can simply put India like this, and that's it, I think, right? So we just need to check the syntax. We are using functions, value in a right way, right? So let's just check syntax. So what, there is no error found. So what we will do with this function, right? So what AND will check, this condition should be true and this condition should be true, right? So if name is equals to Pratik, then this particular condition will be true. And if country value will be India, then this condition will also be true. And if both the condition will be true, then this validation will pass, right? This validation will return a value as true, right? And if it is returning a value as true, then this particular error message will show, right? So let me just put the error message.
Pratik, can we also guess which value he has put in wrong? Let's say the first condition is wrong or the second is wrong, so that we give him the right message.
Yes, we can do. You can give me a scenario. I can implement that for you. Let me
I'm
just
saying, let's say if he has put in, let's say Pratik as a wrong name, but India was correct.
Okay.
So we should give him a message that your name, the name that you have typed or chosen is wrong. Or if his value of India is wrong, then we can tell him that the country chosen that you have, the country that you have chosen is wrong.
The validation will remain same for that. The only thing that will change is error message, right?
Yes.
Right. So error message, you can put anything you want, right? It's just a text. So you cannot put
in case he is putting the first error, we are getting the first error, then we display a different message. If we are getting a second error, then a different message.
For first error, then see, error will only come when the user will click on submit. So whatever you are asking, you have to put it as a custom using JavaScript. So what happens with Salesforce, validation generally run on server side, right? So they generally don't run on browser.
Okay.
So whatever validation rule we are putting here, they will only run on submit. So if user has to fill the entire form and You have to click on submit, then only we can show the validation using a validation rule. But yeah, whatever you are saying, you can do it using a JavaScript. So using Lightning component or Lightning web component, you can implement that. This is standard. It generally run on server. That is why they introduced this Lightning thing. This is the drawback of Salesforce. Right. So you cannot put Pratik as name along with India as country. Message is so top of the page or field. If you want to show it on field, then you just need to give the name of the field on which you want to show the message, right? So I'm just selecting top of the page and just hitting save. Okay. Duplicate validation, okay. So we have validation now and rule, and now it is active. So you can always check your validation rule here only. So on student. See, we have the validation rule now, and the error message is also showing here. So let me just validate this validation rule. So what you can do is, let me just type Pratik as name, and country I'm just picking as India, and I'll just pick some account and contact here. And course. Yes, and if I will hit save, then it is showing the same error message that I want to show you, right? So this is how you can create your validation. If you want me to create some other validations, then you can give me the scenario. I can do that for you. I will also share some practice example with you all. If you want to practice, you guys can do practice. Any question on this validation rule? I hope it is pretty simple, but sometimes you have to create long validations with lot of and or. What you just need to do is every time you just need to just check what is the exact line of condition we have. And with every line, you can simply separate each and every condition you have in the validation. Is it clear to everyone?
So Pratik, if we want to have a validation like suppose we have a field mobile number and we want a validation that the value should be between 10 to 12 character length.
Yes, you can
So
simply use length, right?
Okay. Okay.
We have a function called len here. Let me just show you. I think this one, return the number of characters in the text. Yes.
Okay.
You can simply validate in if condition. If len and in text, you can simply use your field name, and if it is greater than 10 or something like that, then you can simply show the error message.
Okay.
So for everything you can use, and there are some rejects as well that you can pick from Google and you can use.
Okay.
Right? Do some practice with this, and if you have any question, just come back to me and we'll discuss that. So validation rule you can use.
Pratik, hi, Akhil here.
Yeah,
Can we have a few more examples which have more and or means to say more validation? Just one more.
Just give me one example what you can think of for a form.
Okay. When it comes to, you can say that if I'm in India, then I'll as a customer, I belongs to India, then nobody can access other forms or some other state field. I'm not able to connect right now. So
Okay,
you have that
that's
idea
fine.
in that case.
So what we can do is let's just use and some or in and itself.
Right. It will be good.
So let's say if if name is Pratik and country equals to India or Australia, something like that, right? So we can just pick that thing. So currently we are just checking Pratik as only with India, right? Let's just check it with two value. You cannot put Pratik with India or Australia as well, right? Something like that. So what you need to do is in this condition, you have to use or in and only, right? So in and condition here, you will use another or. Let me just pick or here. So here in or, we just need to put this is speak well in logical one or, and you just need to pick one more is speak well, right? Like this. And here you just need to select Australia. So now what we are doing, we are using three functions here. One is and in one end we are using or, and in or itself we are using is speak well. Something like that, right? So let me just check the syntax and then I will explain what it does. So first and will check this condition and this condition, right? But in this condition, we are also checking one or, right? In or what we are doing, either speak well is this or this, then the entire condition will be true, right? And we just do the same with this thing. So let's just test it with multiple scenarios. So Pratik with India should fail. Yes, it is failing. Pratik with Australia, then it should fail. Yes. And let's just put one right scenario. Pratik with USA. Yes, it is passing. There is one more validation rule that we need to deactivate, but we are not getting our validation rule. Let me just deactivate the other one.
So it can be it can be long scenarios as well, depending upon the requirement.
Yeah, you can simply, so it doesn't matter if you are aware how you can create a validation rule, it doesn't matter. So what we are doing is from top condition, you need to decide what are the condition you need to put here. So here, as Chetan has suggested, we can use and, because we are just checking two different conditions. And the first condition, we are simply checking the Pratik, but in second condition, we have multiple values. So country name can be, India as well as Australia. So in both the cases, the validation should show, right? So for that, we just need to check or in and itself, and in or we are checking is pick well. Either it is country as India and this one is as Australia.
So this should be good, right? I mean, is pick value means that we are picking from a list.
Right.
Right.
Is pick value what you have picked from a pick list.
Yes. So the countries India or Australia along with Pratik should be right.
So you have to put it in a different way. So validation rule generally works in like the value, whatever condition you are just checking, that should be true, then only your validation will fire. So here, I understand what you are thinking right now, but validation rule generally work in a different way. What we are putting here, that should be in a true condition. So if you want like Australia and India should be true, then you just need to mention here as Pakistan and USA, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, got that. So maybe this is the right condition, but I mean, because the person chose Pratik and India, so this condition was fulfilled. That's the reason you were okay.
Yes. So what you just need to put here, the exact condition that you want to check, what you don't want to be as an input from users.
So it's always like negative checking that's what we do, or it's the other way around also. I mean, we say that these are the logics that the person
generally negative.
Oh, okay.
Generally negative most of the time, but it is developer choice what they want to put here. Nobody will check what you are putting here. The output should be okay.
Okay.
Right. So you can go in either way. Okay. So we have discussed validation rule. And now the second thing that we are going to discuss is very important. That is approval process. So we have approval processes for different scenario. One is you can use approval process for your account approvals, your contact approvals for any lead approval, or anything you can use, right? So if you want your manager to approve that thing or somebody else to approve that thing, so you can simply put a approval in process in place for that object. And you can also do some workflow actions along with that approval process. By the help of workflow actions, you can simply validate some or update some field in the system. Let me just take you a scenario. Let's just put it on account, a standard object. So let's say I have this record, right? So if I will submit this record for approval process, we don't have any approval button right now because we don't have any approval process in place for account object. So let's say, we are just submitting this particular record for approval, right? So, and if somebody will check this record, then he should know what is the status of that approval. Is it in submitting state or rejected or approved or something like that? So what I'm going to do is I'm just creating a pick list field here just to show the exact status of that record approval. Let me just quickly create a field here. Okay, new custom field. And it should be pick list. And status, let's use some value. Submit for approval. These are the three values I am taking. Next. Just created one field here. Field is created, and let's just create an approval process. So we can create an approval process using two ways. Just give me 1 minute. Let me just take some water. Okay, so approval process can be created by two ways. One is using jump start wizard, or second one is standard setup wizard. So what you can do is you can simply type approval process here in quick find box, and in workflow and approvals, you will see this approval process as a button, right, as a link. So I'm just clicking on this approval process. And here, manage approval process for, so you just need to select the object here. And before that, you can simply read the steps here, right? So for an approval process, you just need to fill this 7-step process, right? 7-step wizard. Approvals are complex business processes that require information gathering and planning before implementing. It is recommended that you follow the instruction below before getting started. Read the help topic, view the checklist, create a custom user hierarchy relationship field, create. Okay, this is telling. So create approval process using jump start wizard or standard setup wizard. Both are same. One is lengthy, one is a single one-page process. Add approval history related list to the page layout, activate the process. So these are the things that you need to follow. First, you need to decide on which object you want to create an approval process. So here I'm just selecting account as an object, right? Because we have created a custom field on account object itself. So I'm just using account as an object, and then you will get this pick list to just select by which process you want to proceed. The one is use jump start wizard, Second one is use standard setup wizard, right? So you can go with any of these, right? I will use Jumpstart Wizard. I want you all to use this standard setup wizard. Both are same. In Jumpstart Wizard, you will get everything on a single page. You need to fill every information on a single page. And in standard setup wizard, you have to do next to just fill information, right? Information is same in both the processes. So I'm using Jumpstart Wizard as we always do when we implement this. So you are getting all the information on a single page. First thing is like you just need to pass the approval process name. Approve account name. So you can simply approve account, right? And here approval assignment email template. So it is here what you can do is every time we are assigning account for approval, then you can send an email to the approver that this particular email template, this particular account is for your approval, and you can simply select an email template for the same. If there is any, otherwise you can create a custom email template. So I don't think we have any for approval process. So I'm just using one email template as a random, and then add the submit for approval button and approval history related list to the account page layout. So what will happen, right? Here you will get an approval button, and here in the bottom you will get a related list for approval history. So that particular related list will show you where is your document, on which state, and who is going to approve and all this stuff, right? So I'm just using it checked, and use approver field of account owner. So if you want to use account owner as approver, then you can use it, but you cannot do it. You have to ask Salesforce to do it. And then specify entry criteria. So it is for if you want some specific record to be used as for approval, then you can simply put your condition here. So those record in which we have that condition as true, then only you will get those record for approval. So you can simply fill this if you want, otherwise you can simply leave. So let's say if I only want India records to go for approval, right? So what I can do is use something else. It is account, right? Let's say if only hot accounts I need for approval, right? So we have rating field, and in rating we have three values: hot, cold, and warm, right? So if rating is hot, then only we'll go for approval. So we have put one condition here, and here you need to select approver. Approver you can select using three different ways. Let the submitter choose the approver manually. So by this, at the time of submitting a particular record for approval, you can also select who is going to approve that particular record. So that will be a kind of manual process, because every time you can change your approval. So we generally don't use the first one, but it is there, so you should be aware about it. And then the second one is automatically assign an approver using a standard and custom hierarchy field. So if you guys can remember, we have discussed about a relationship called hierarchical relationship. And what it was doing is it was for user object, and we were assigning a supervisor for existing user, right? So similarly, you can use that particular field for approval, and you can use the supervisor of that record owner as an approver in this case. So if you will choose this one, it will show you the hierarchical fields here. So we have created this TL as an hierarchical field, and manager is the standard field provided by Salesforce on user object. Both are hierarchical fields, so you can use these fields as well. Okay. And here we have,
it is not aligned to the Outlook or the let's say whatever hierarchy which is there in the company. So different companies use different kind of outlooks, right? So based on the current hierarchy structure, can we just not marry that both of them here? Or we have
Yes,
to put in for every name? Because let's say
Yes.
if a company has 10,000 people or 1 lakh people,
So every
you can't
time
do
if
it
you are
manually.
using a hierarchical field, then you have at a time of user creation, you can update all the supervisor on that field. So it will automatically pick whatever is passed in that particular field as a supervisor. So let's say
But
if you are working in a company and you are using Salesforce as a login, right? So for using Salesforce, you generally have a simple Salesforce account, user account in Salesforce, and on that we can create a hierarchical field. So your manager, your boss can be the supervisor on mentioned on that particular field. So every time you will put account for approval, your boss will be assigned as an approver automatically.
I understand. I'm talking about in a company, people will come and go, right? So every time somebody leaves, I don't think admins will get this information. So it has to be tied up to the company Outlook.
Company Outlook, you can always connect it, right? But it is not directly connected with Salesforce. Outlook, you have to connect as a connector. So if you will connect Outlook as a connector, then you can also set up in that way as well.
Okay. Okay.
But generally what I saw in companies, right, we use this third one, the third option, because for account approval, so there is a sales or marketing manager, right? So generally sales managers are approving those requests, and they generally sit on in head office. So let's say our system admin is a sales manager, so we generally put this one as always uh, as a approver. And you can also have one or more approver, and approver reject, you have these two conditions: the approver reject based on first response or unanimous, right? So if you want unanimous, then you can use this one as well, and if you want first one as well, then you can use. But in companies, if you are having approval process, we generally use these two things. But processes are there, so you can use anyone based on your requirement. So I'm using this one for our practice. You can use other ones as well, as we have only 2 users, so you cannot use more than one as approval process here. So I'm just hitting save. That's it. You need to put here. Just click on view approval process detail page. This is your approval process detail page, and in process definition detail, you can see what we have mentioned till now. Entry criteria should be account rating equals to hot, record editability, administrator only. So if record is submitted for approval, then record owner and administrators, right, can only change the record in the process of approval, right? And this one is, you have to activate this approval process to run, right? And then approval assignment email template, initial submitted, account owners can only submit the record for approval, and all these things, right? Now here, these are the options that you can pick to just update the fields that we have created, right? So these are the actions you can run at the time of processing that record for approval, right? So let's say if you have initially submitting the record for approval, then this initial submission action will fire, and you can use, you can create a task, send an email alert, update a field, send outbound messages. All these 4 workflow actions you can directly do at the time of submitting a record for approval process. So what I am going to do is, I am just updating that particular field that we have created for approval process. The one is initial, for initial submission, we will update as submitted for approval, and for rejection, we'll just update as rejected, and for approval, we just update as approved, right? So you can use field update for initial submission action, and action 1. You can put any name for your choice, which field you want to update here. So we have created one custom field here, and that is approval status. And for this particular action, we need submitted for approval. So I'm just clicking on save here. So we have submitted one initial submission action, and then we have approval steps. So we have only one approval step. So it is showing just the steps, whatever we have, right? And then final approval action. So this particular action will only fire if your record is approved, right? So if our record is approved, then what we need to do is we just need to update that particular pick list value as approved. So again, field update. And here you can pass something else. I'm just passing action 2, and then just select approval status and select the value what you want to update at this time. So we are just updating approved at this time and just submitting save.
So Pratik, I have one question or query. In fact, so basically the approval will, or the person who will approve our actions. So basically depend upon our hierarchy, right, of the organization or the particular
The users,
process.
yeah, user should be in your org, right? In your Salesforce software, right? Then only he or she can approve. So we have selected who will approve. So this is the assigned user, assigned approver for all of your account record. So every time you will submit a account record for approval, only this user will approve all of your record.
Okay.
Okay.
So again, if somebody asks me as an admin to make the approval steps, so it will be according to the requirement, and the requirement
Yes.
will be according to their organization or whatever that means to say. They want to.
So Akhil, so whenever as an admin or as a developer, you will create an approval process. So your architect will give you all the information. So they will give you the name of the approval process. This will be the name. These all are your approvers, and what you just need to put in your approval actions. Everything you will get in a document. So what you need to do is you just need to create an approval process with that data.
You have to just follow the process, right?
Yes,
Simple.
yes.
Okay.
Then you just need to aware how you can create an approval process and where you want to put what.
Okay, fine. Thanks.
And here final rejection action, and here again what we need to update is we need to update as rejected. 3. Status, and then here you can simply select as rejected, and we are selecting as rejected. That's it. So we have all these actions set up, right? And activate. I'm just going to activate this. Process is completed, so we just need to activate if we want to run it now. So we have activated the process. You can see the activate checkbox. It is true. And yeah, that's it. Now you can check your account record if you want to put them as for approval. So this is the account record we have with rating as hot. So you can simply refresh it. Now we can see there is one submit for approval button is coming. And even in last, you can see approval history is coming as related list. So you can submit this record as submit for approval. So I'm just submitting this record for approval, and this record will be logged. So you can see this record is logged. I'm the record owner and system administrator as well. That is why I can see all these buttons, and I can simply click on unlog record and edit whatever I want. So we have submitted this record for approval, and we have a field, right? And what is the value of this field? Submit for approval. And if you will see some other records, you will see this value as blank. Let me just pick one more record. And here you can see the rating is also hot, but the value of approval process is blank. But if you will submit this record for approval, the value of approval status field will automatically change to submit for approval, right? And if you will go down and you can see in approval history, step 1 pending for first approval, approval reject, who is going to approve? Pratik Sharma, because I am only the approver and I have also submitted it for approval. Then that is why we are getting this approve and reject field on my screen, right? And similarly, it will come for other record as well in last, right? And it is showing overall status as pending. And for another user, when he will log in, right, on his home page, he will see all these. So here, item to approve. So he can see these are the 2 records that he need to approve in his home page, right? So he can approve or reject either directly from here, or he can go on record to approve. So let's say on first record, I will approve, and on second record, I will reject, right? So let me just approve this, the first one, and I'm just clicking on approve. And again, going on home page. So now it is only showing 1 record as we have already approved one. So for this one, what I will do is I will reject. So I'm just rejecting this record, something like that. And so here you can see it is coming as red flag, and the value of approval status is rejected. And for this record, let me just refresh the record. It is coming as approved, and here as well it is coming as approved. So this is how you can create an approval process and manage it based on your company requirement. So what you should know is you should only aware about how you can create an approval process, how you can use approval workflow actions, right? And how you can select your approvers for your records. That's it, right? And every other information you will get from your architect or your business analyst. Your users should only tell what will be your approval and other information. Any question on this one? So for approval processes, there is one other way. So we just use Jumpstart Wizard. There is one more thing that I want you all to create, but I will show you what all are the steps you will get here. So let's say there is one more way to create it. You standard set of wizard. So in this wizard, on first step, you just need to pass the name, right? And if you will do next, you will get criteria, right? If you will do next, you will get approval routing. And if you will do next, this is how you will get each and every steps in this next email template, approval assignment template. So this is how you can get each and every information, right? So just try it once, and if you will face any issue, you can ping me in weekdays as well. We can discuss that. Any question till now? No question?
No.
Thank you. Then
What are the areas that we should ask from the users? I mean, how do you gather the requirements? It's not topic related, but how do you gather that?
For what? For approval processes? For anything?
For anything. I mean,